I want to quickly review a great book that I came upon, learned about. I've heard about it before, but it's called Essentialism. The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McKeown is how he pronounces his name. Now, the book has outrageously good ratings. It has a lot of ratings to start with. And if you look at the number, 77% plus 14, which is how I usually figure out if the book has a good rating, that gives you 91%, which is always amazing. So it's a book that a lot of people have reviewed and a lot of people have found really helpful. And I just want to also quickly say that one of the things I've learned in terms of being essential and focusing on what really matters is to notice right away whenever people give something a negative review, especially a book that's been, so there's only 2% of the people have given this a 1-star review. And this fellow here, who's at the top because 411 people found this helpful, which means 411 people have mindset issues, because when you see a book like this that a lot of people have said are great, and 411 people gravitate toward this person who says, this is just another self-help book written by an exec who has the ability to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Really? That's it? Okay, that's your review? Aha. Okay, look at this. As a manager, I had to read this. Okay, there's your key. There's your key. He didn't want to read it. He had to read it. And it was painful because he didn't want to read it. All right. So if I was in charge of this person, I'd weed them out. Okay. That's what, no, I'm not going to do that. Also essential. Get rid of people like this, because he's just decided that this book doesn't mean anything. It's not good. Now, maybe you'd say, well, if I'm not a manager, or if I am a manager, well, these other people say, who would read this book many times? He reads it 1 to 2 times. This is 183 people found this helpful. This person is saying they read it constantly, Destiny Yarborough. This person says, trust me, you need it. Here's a great review. So mostly people like it. Okay. But let's forget about those people for a second here. Tim Ferriss recently had Greg McKeown on his podcast. And where are we? Let's go here. This is his most recent appearance. He's written a new book called The Art of Effortless Results. So Tim Ferriss recently had him on the podcast, which is how I found out about it or remembered to go back and read it. I had already bought the book, but I just hadn't gone around to reading it. And I went back and listened to the first episode where Greg McKeown appeared on Tim's podcast after he'd written the book, and Tim Ferriss talked to him about the book. And I want you to listen to what Tim Ferriss said about how important this book was to him, because Tim Ferriss is a highly successful person. Okay.
Greg, welcome to the show.
It's so great to be with you, Tim.
And I'm looking here at a table in front of me with many, many pieces of paper spread out. And they consist of printed out highlights from your book. Your book is one of the most highlighted books that I have on my Kindle. And I wanted to, first and foremost, thank you for writing it, because I found it tremendously helpful personally, and it has become one of the few books that I revisit on a regular basis. So first off, I just want to express gratitude for you having written the book.
Well, that's awfully nice of you to do that, to say that. That's very humbling. Here I was thinking we were going to have a bad conversation, and now I feel like we might go somewhere.
So, bottom line, I would get this book, which has a lot of ratings, mostly good, and I would figure out, why is it that Tim Ferriss says that this book is essential and important? Why is it that Adam Grant says that? Why is it that Michael Hyatt, in his book Free to Focus, acknowledges Greg McKeown in this book as one of the few that helped him? These are people who are successful who say this book is important. It's not just something that says don't do things, right? And if you have a mindset that looks at things and says, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't want to read that. Well, then that's fine. And you can leave reviews on Amazon, and some people will gravitate toward those reviews. On the other hand, if you want better results from what you do, then I would listen to people who are successful and tell you how they became successful. That's my advice for what it's worth. That's how I figured things out. I could figure them out the hard way, or I can, find out what other people have done and skip a few steps. And I think that's probably the better approach for me. I hope it works for you too.